How do you think about as a store, when a kid comes in and buys his first guitar, you've got to be thinking, okay, this is either going to be a customer for life or we're never going to see him again because it's not going to stick. How do you think about, I don't even know, trying to create some kind of environment or system where you can get as many kids sticking with the guitar or any instrument as possible?
If you want a successful music store, and you have to accept that the value from a customer is a lifetime value. It's not, I mean, look, if we sell a guitar for $99, right, we're obviously going to make a profit on that guitar of something. But if that's it, if that's all we ever get from you, I've probably barely paid for an hour of a salesman's time, right, let alone manage to run a business on it. What we need is for as many of those new starter customers as possible to become lifer guitar players. And, I mean, I don't know what the lifetime value is. It's going to vary, isn't it, depending on the circumstances of each individual. But it's certainly not going to be less than $5,000 in a year, in a lifetime, sorry.
Fender says, I think it's $10,000 per customer for them.
I mean, I suspect that average is anything, it could be $100,000 for some customers. Maybe 5,000 is, I don't know, in a lifetime. It's pretty easy to spend $5,000 in a lifetime on guitars and pedals and amps. And all
I spent $5,000 in one day.
I know. So that's the objective, right? I mean, that's essentially, and that's what, whether you're selling guitars, making guitars, repairing guitars, teaching guitars, we all need the same thing to happen. That's the objective. And I think what that shaped in Anderson's, and I never ever understood going into a guitar store and seeing, I think the worst one ever was, and I won't say where it was, but it was in a very high profile sort of location for guitars.
No, say where it was. No, I'm just kidding.
And there'd be like a loop wire going through the guitar. She was obviously like an anti-theft.
Yeah.
And then literally a skull and crossbones on every single guitar with a warning about what would happen if you touched it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I mean, if you look around here, right, we're in the section of the guitar store where all the good stuff is, all right? And absolutely everything is, you can pick it up, try it. And I've never understood, why wouldn't you want the experience of coming into a guitar store to inspire people to go, oh, I've never tried one of those before.
Yeah.
So we've got the silent practice rooms, we've got the policy of, you can try anything. I kind of feel like, you're obviously trying to avoid damaging the guitars. So it's like, yes, we'd probably like you to ask someone if you could pick something up, but no one's going to say no. They're always going to go, no problem, let me get this down for you. It doesn't sound like a terribly, sophisticated, unbelievable, wow, I never thought about doing that. It sounds pretty obvious, right? You want to try and make the experience of coming into a guitar store inviting and welcoming and inspiring and all those kind of things. And yet still, so many stores get that wrong.
Yeah. The store that I went to when I was a kid in New York, they would never let you play the guitars. But then I look back on that and I go, of course, because I was like in middle school and I probably would have scratched them or something. Don't you think about that? Or you go, that's the price to pay for creating a welcoming environment in the store?
I mean, it's obviously a balance, but for the most of the store where you've got like, the Squier display and the Epiphone display and the Mexican Fender, when you buy the guitar, that's not the one you're going to get, right? You're going to go, oh, I like that, and then you're going to get a seal. So to a degree, I don't mind as how...
Those are the floor models.
Yeah, if that gets a few scratches on it, but simultaneously, 50 kids come in and go, oh, God, Dad, I got to play a proper Fender Strat today. Like, and that's all I want for Christmas now. That's got to be worth, one model with a couple of scratches on it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're if as a music shop, all you stock is like crazy high end, one of a kind, maybe you have to take a slightly different attitude. But yeah, as a sort of general music store, it's like, I don't know. I think you just like, come on in, just come on in.
Try
it's
stuff.
like so many other things that, you know, can you imagine, I don't know, imagine any other retail store. Can you imagine going into like a computer game store, you know, and look at the effort they got. You know, go, don't touch the, don't touch anything, you can't play anything.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's what that's how I always wanted Andertons to be, and I was lucky in that was the environment I grew up in, and that was kind of probably when I first started. That was what the store manager here had, a similar ethos. Yeah, I think it's just culturally, it's always been quite ingrained in the Andertons thing. You know, let's try and, even down to, I'm not going to deny that when I first started, and probably for the first 10 years or so like that, this industry was not, misogynistic is maybe slightly too extreme, but it was an intimidating play. You know, all the staff would be guys that, you know, you'd hear the comments if a girl came in and that sort of stuff, and you're like, I've got to just can't have that. You know, there's just, people have just got to come in with a shared love of an interest in music, whether it's keyboards or guitars or whatever like that. They've just got to feel that they can ask about anything. Could be a really novice question, could be an advanced question. They've got to be able to try stuff, and everything is about breaking down any reason why somebody might feel embarrassed or intimidated to sort of come in. I don't know that necessarily we're there yet, but it's massively, massively better than it was 25 years ago. At least in here it is anyway. So.
Yeah. Lee, when you go to something like NAMM, when I go to NAMM, I feel like I'm there to kind of like goof off, hang out with friends. Like NAMM is not for me because I'm not a dealer. When you go to NAMM, what do you do at NAMM day to day? And is it that valuable for you to go in NAMM? Does it really make a difference? Or do you even go in NAMM?
Yeah,
I've seen you at NAMM a couple times. Yeah.
I don't think apart from COVID, I think that's the only NAMMs I've missed in maybe the last 25 years or so. So NAMM, historically, do you remember that world where there wasn't an internet? NAMM was how you found out about everything that was going to be new at the beginning of the year. So that was the timing. You know, you get through Christmas, you have your sort of seasonal peak, you're a bit knackered, you go to California, it's nice and sunny, and your bank balance has got loads of dough in it because you've just had Christmas, and so all the suppliers are going, let me show you what's new. And it was great. And you'd see your friends, and there'd be some parties in the evening, and the weather was nicer than the UK. Anyway. And then the internet came along, and you know, you'd go to NAMM and you'd go, oh yeah, you told me about that. I saw that on the internet 3 weeks ago. You sent me an email about that too. I've already ordered those. I've done that. Da, 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 da. And I think NAMM since then, NAMM, not the trade organization, I'm just talking about the show, I think has sort of gone, what actually is this for? So of course now it's much more consumer focused. So, you know, if I go back 10 or 15 years, NAMM was 90% trade. And then if you knew someone who knew someone, maybe you could get a ticket. Now it's the other way. It feels like 90% consumers and 10% trade. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I think that the community aspect of NAMM is an angle now for them. I guess the issue is how important is that for the exhibitors? It's blooming expensive to exhibit and to go to NAMM, you know. And if you're not going to write any orders because you've written them all anyway, what value do you put on just being able to go, oh hi, you know, haven't seen you since the last NAMM, you know? And there is some value to that, but is it $1 million? Because that's what some of the stands are costing, you know, the big ones.
Yeah,
you know?
right.